Hello, my astrology friends and family. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and we're continuing on the 2023 marathon. This time, our guest is Lady Casha. She's a mystic, she's a psychic, she's a healer. She's very popular on this channel with her psychic predictions, numerological. But now, Lady Casha will look at us energetically for the whole year at the beginning of this video for us collectively, and the second part will be for each numerological number, which will tell you how to calculate as well. Hello, Lady Kasha.
Hi, Lada. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm excited to hear predictions for 2023, not just from an astrological point of view. That's why I invited you as well as a psychic, as someone who will show us a different perspective. And by the way, if anyone would like a personal reading with Lady Kasha, I'll put a link below in the description. She does 30 minutes or 1 hour psychic energy healing. A lot going on in the reading. It's very in depth, and it's mine was very correct. One which we did 2-3 years ago, was it already? But I'm very excited to hear what you have to say for us 2023. And by the way, Lady Kasha does not use camera because she doesn't want to take away from the message. She wants you to focus on the voice and the message, not to put an ego inside. Everyone has their own way of work. So I appreciate how you work and honor it. So I'm very excited to hear what you have to say to us.
Thank you, Lada. I also want to say that I have written some of this, or most of it, beforehand. So sometimes I do read from my own notes, just so everybody knows. It's my own take, but it's my own, because my English sometimes is not the best. So I want to be prepared when I'm in peace and quiet before I do this.
Oh, absolutely. We all do this.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yes, this is a general collective psychic prediction for 2023. And of course, it's people will have different experiences depending on where they are in their own journey. But these are the energies that will be available, and they're for those that are in tune with them. And first, I'd like to talk a little bit about the general energy and then go into different time segments. So the overall energy shows that the greatest battle this year will be with ourselves, regardless of what goes on outside of us. As everybody knows, we all to a lesser or greater degree have obstacles to the full expression of our lives by what we believe is true. And we limit ourselves. And this is the year to undo that, to go deep within and find those things that are in the way. Many times, these are the things that we project into the world, and we believe that the limitation or lack is out there, when in fact it's just an outworking of what's going on within. And this is the year to become really aware of that. This is, of course, not a conscious process, so we need to bring awareness to it in order to shift it around. But those who wish and are ready can take full responsibility for the life that they have created now, consciously or not, and to look at this as an opportunity to change. I also want to mention then that this is a 7 numerological year universally, meaning that things will be slowing down around us and prompt us to turn within to find answers and faith. Also, as things may not work out as anticipated initially. So the going within will be necessary, as what's not right in the external cannot really be fixed, at least not satisfactory or permanently, by pushing and pulling it to fall into place, or trying to force anything by sheer willpower coming from ego. And to understand what is going on will be crucial, and meaning you need to look beneath the surface and not judge according to appearances of what will be happening and taking place. So we can't allow ourselves to get panicky and fearful, by how events will seem to unfold on the surface level, that would take us down the wrong path, and there will be enough people on the planet freaking out. So those of us who are at least a little bit aware of how creation works, we need to keep it together. And that is to turn within and stay spiritually connected to our own spiritual being, our source, and the truth about what is actually going on. And that will be so important, especially as we will see next year what we entertain within this year, meaning we will see 2024 what we entertain 2023. So it looks to me like the entire year there will be an emphasis on doing the inner spiritual work of aligning ourselves with our spiritual being and source, and by doing so, finding and expressing our destiny one by one and together. And when we do that, we change the trajectory of the world. So everything, the way I see it, can work out more beautifully eventually than we could actually imagine to begin with, or by the look to our physical eye. We've already, most of us, and of course, this is not for every person on the planet. This reading is for people who find this reading and who are on your channel, Lada. So most of us have already begun this journey into higher consciousness and awareness. And when the year begins, we seem to be basically in a good place. I see a heart-centered energy here, and there's balance, there's harmony, and love in the broadest universal sense. It's available and it's present, and divine love is continuing to come in as a result of the awakening already happening. And a part of doing this inner work of the year will be the destruction of illusions and projections, as I already mentioned a little bit, and seeking the truth and getting a clearer understanding of who and what we are and what we're doing. So we need to pierce and see through the veil of the material universe right now and understand the spiritual truths that are making it work. And if you by chance would not be on this already, now is definitely the time to begin. So many of us will also feel that we are at a turning point during the year. And that can or cannot be detectable in any external sense, but it will be felt internally. For some, this will be like a gateway or a portal that will make itself known, metaphorically speaking, and within, which will be like an escape through which we leaving that which has been difficult behind. And it's a door through which we can journey away from the problems and problematic situations that we previously experienced. Yes, the future may be unknown because it's not actually written yet. We are creating it in every moment, but it's definitely better than we're leaving that which we're leaving behind. So during this year, we are about to put distance between ourselves and the past in a very tangible way. But yeah, it's wonderful. By being in this process, we can be met with some level of distrust and suspicion from others and our environment. And at times, actually, we can feel the same. We can perceive the world as unreliable, and to some degree, as everybody knows, it actually is. But so we should not be naive, but also not paranoid. I mean, there's a middle way between being too trusting and to not trust at all. And there will be one of our bigger challenges will be the temptation to be pulled into the drama of the world events and life out there, and in our individual lives too, when things are going to get a little bit bumpy at times. And we do best not to get fully absorbed by that or any practical issue that may present itself in our daily lives. So there is a risk of being triggered to fear responses and locked into focusing only on what is going on before our physical eyes. So much that we, at least now and then, will get disconnected from our spiritual self. So that is the only thing that could stop us during this year, as I read it. It's a real threat that we need to be aware of so that we have a chance not to falling into that trap and stay in it, but instead can come back to ourselves again and again. Because everybody knows, you know, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get up. And with that said, let's look at the different time segments. I've looked at the overall energy for 3-4 month time periods and a little bit at each month. So the first 4 months, January, February, March, and April, this lovely energy that I described in the beginning will actually grow. And I see love and connectedness and growing both in us and in our lives. So we are in that process. But even so, January is presenting a little bit of a challenge. That does not take away from the beautiful energy that is present as well. It's not in total opposition. It's rather that this experience of well-being and satisfaction and love, and not at least connection, help us put an end to something that needs to end now. And the challenge looks like it has to do with not being heard or respected. And now is the time to put the foot down and get out of a situation like that. And that could potentially give some conflict. And it's necessary that we are aware of that so that we do not escalate it. We should definitely avoid engaging in direct fighting, because even if we would win a battle, it would be an empty victory on our part if we would sort of engage with that kind of energy. So whatever the issue is, it can be confronted if it's actually necessary, but only if you really feel it's the right thing to do. Otherwise, and probably the better, is to walk away. So there's neither then any need to be nice nor to explain, just to leave it. In February, most of what transpired in January will be over and done with successfully then. We've proven that we have what it takes to succeed against opposition, and we should find ourselves in an advantageous position. There may still be some things that needs to be dealt with, though, spilling over from the month priorly, some loose ends that need to be tied up, something not entirely finalized just yet. And if your belief system is being questioned and tested, listen and weigh in perhaps, but of course, do what is right for you. And remember that you are entitled to your own opinions without having to explain yourself, unless you really, really want to. February is also a month that favors stepping out on your own. So for some, this will be about self-employment, which has the potential to develop successfully further down the line if it's begun here and now. But of course, check your individual energies to make sure about that. March has a strong energy and of being empowered, of being centered and aligned in our soul's energy. And this amplifies our manifesting power. So this is a time when we can better than usually work with our focus and intentions and higher will to create that which is on our path and intended for us. And many will likely see signs, early signs of manifestation during this month too. And plans that is put into action have a high likelihood of being carried out successfully. If you feel that something is lacking during this month, take this time to work on getting focused and aligned to come back or come into your spiritual power. You're going to need it, and you won't regret that you do. And actually, the month energy also speaks about potential meeting of someone which the relationship has a capacity to grow with time. And lastly, for the first 4 months, April, it will be a little bit shaky after these wonderful energies that has been transpiring. And we will be a little bit challenged again. It looks like we're getting triggered and may temporarily lose this beautiful sense of connection that we have. And for some, it can feel like they are out in the cold for a moment. It's probably something happens in our external world. It could be in the private sphere, but it could actually also be on the world stage, as I'm sensing it. And that makes us locked into a focus on the physical level of life only, and looking with the eyes of the ego is a frightening and many times painful experience. These challenges, obstacles, and blocks can at this point feel a bit unsurmountable or seem that way. But remember that this will pass, especially if you stick to your spiritual practices or pick them up again. You will be even more masterful eventually at staying present than before. And it's not about pretending that things are good when they're not. It's on the contrary important to admit when things are hard and to be real. But use this opportunity of experiencing disconnect as something that can strengthen you long term. So the second 4 months, May, June, July, and August, is all about change, regardless of actually if we want it or not. It is required. And if we are resisting it, it may be forced upon us. It's likely a continuation of outer events taking place that begun in April already, either in our personal environment or in the world, that is continuing to trigger or affect us. It could take the form of losing something that we have a hard time letting go of. If that happens, we need to stay awake and aware of the fact that we cannot lose anything that truly belongs to us. Even if it feels or looks like something is taken away that we cannot live without, we can be sure that it will either be restored or that we will receive its equivalence, or actually even better. Remember now that this is a 7 universal year, a year of faith in the unseen and higher power. So a practice to release and let go over and over, not only of people, places, and things, but also of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, etc., that is no longer conducive to our growth and expansion is necessary. Actually, like I mentioned, the whole year is about this in many layers and on many levels. To get rid of that within that is hindering us from living life to the fullest. Again, the only thing that we have to overcome is ourselves, basically. And it's emphasized these 4 months, and the process of potentially very deep transformation is present. This can be a time when we're stepping into and becoming who we truly and really are, not what we believe we are or what other people think that we should be. And of course, maybe I should say that, and everybody knows it, but just to remember it, it's not something that happens once. It's a continual experience and process. In May, then, there's an extra focus on old thought patterns that needs to be confronted, and a certain resistance to doing so, a sort of wrestling with ourselves. And unforeseen events may arise during this time that we have to mentally adjust to, and emotions and the imagination needs to be kept under control. So it's a month to be vigilant and not reacting to things by the way they come across at the first glance. Instead, it's important to look for the truth beneath. In that way, you will be prepared when the truth eventually comes out and not surprised by it as well. Also avoid being combative, as there can be a difference of opinion, either at work or in your private life. Instead, back off as not to make it a bigger problem than it is. Come June, things will turn around to start moving in a better direction. It seems like the most challenging energies are over for the year, actually. And when synchronicities and unexpected things happen this month, take the cues, as it is much likely fate saying that there's a new direction available. You are, of course, free to resist, but the possibility is there. There will be a good chance to profit and a positive outcome if you follow it. You will now understand, like never before, that there's more to life than the external world, and you may realize with emphasis that you are the only one standing in your way when it comes down to it. That's the theme of the year. Expressed in the area of work and career, this may likely take the form of entering a new cycle, following your intuition and taking a needed risk, maybe leaving a job to pursue a dream. That could make everything break wide open now. But of course, again, check your individual energies to get deeper insight into that. July then has the energy of a journey, be it physical or spiritual, but in either case, you are at the wheel and in control. You've become much more capable of creating the trajectory of your life through the thoughts you entertain and the aligned actions you take as a consequence. It is a 5 universal month, so there's an element of freedom present with the energy of change. It's not a time, though, to push, but of being receptive. You do not need to make things happen so much as being open to them once they do. In August, things should be working out in a way that will make you see and feel a sense of wholeness. And whatever plans starting here will reach and have consequences far into the future in a very positive sense. The reason for this at this time is that you will have, if you've been working at it, a very strong sense of spiritual connection and a working relationship with your higher mind. So this month can also bring deep insights and a feeling that your innermost dreams have an actual chance of coming true, and a sense of hope will be restored. It can also be in the form then of recovery of health, like a chronic issue being cleared quickly, or someone special entering your life with which it clicks from the get-go, or the unexpected means to pay off outstanding debts, or a new career opportunity that's exactly what you've been looking for. The last 4 months, September, October, November, and December, is about a new beginning in a major way. It requires, though, taking a leap of faith without too much worrying about the consequences, trusting that where we will get to, we will get without much concern. Many times we don't even begin at something simply because we don't know how it's going to work out later down the line. But actually, we don't need to worry about that, especially not now. We only need to take the next step, making sure that it is in integrity. And that is an act of faith. If the step is in alignment with our true self, the road will unfold magically before us with each step we take. That is the kind of energy that's available here. Something unexpected can also be a part of this, which makes you have to make a major decision, and it may require that you leave the past behind in some way, shape, or form, or completely. And that is not said to scare anyone. It is only if it is creating a better situation, of course. September then is a universal 7 month, and since this is a 7 year as well, the energy of the 7 will be extra pronounced and make the month a potentially very rich time, spiritually, but also materially as a consequence. The intuition can work wonderfully, and if you pay attention to it and let it guide you, everything will click right into place. But you need to be attuned and prepared to use the intuition along with reason to make the choices and decisions that are needed right now for your life. At this time, you're probably also seeking tangible, practical solutions to things. You will not have to look very far or even around yourself, but instead you will be having the wherewithal and knowledge within to come up with what's needed. Here's also an energy of recognition that can be bestowed on you, especially professionally, for something you are doing or have done. October then will be a victorious month, as something that we worked for finally manifests, or at least begins to manifest. It can be the successful completion of a past project or part of a project, and or a cherished dream now seeing the light of the day. It can be a new job, a promotion, a raise. It can be the one you love saying yes to you, or overcoming difficulties in a relationship. Despite whatever transpires at this time, the results are forthcoming in a very positive way. Your spiritual practices and program is also paying off, and you can begin to see clearly in meditation and get a clear understanding of what needs to happen next. Also, your psychic abilities may accelerate and get stronger. Everything should be working out for you as it should. Enjoy this, but also make sure to maintain a balance and to remain grounded. Then November is a continuation of the very positive October, but stepping it up a notch, in that you're now empowered and have a strong feeling of being the creator of your destiny in how things are coming together. You have sufficient power, energy, and awareness and knowledge to direct your life. You worked for this, and it can seem almost magical because of how effortless it will be, letting your intuitive awareness and higher mind guide you. The synchronicities will be lining up, and you are taking full advantage of them. There can also be a surge of inspiration to be used creatively, especially good then for artists. And there can be, if the stars are supportably aligned and the timing is otherwise right, the coming together based on a soul connection, the meeting of someone special in an unusual circumstance in a very special way. All of this because of how you have evolved and connected with your spiritual power and being throughout the year, despite the challenges, or maybe because of them, because you met them and rose up to them. With December, there's an ending of an old situation, making space for the beginning of the new, taking concrete form. And this can involve tying up loose ends and projects as to get ready for what's coming next. So it has the energy of a transition, and some can experience this as being at a crossroads, needing to step back a little bit to re-examine the situation and make a decision about further direction. It's not so much an energy for love and relationship, so much as the focus and intention is on other things that seem more important for the moment, but it is an energy and promise of love on the horizon. And then the outcome of this year is a quickening of awakening. More people than ever are realizing that there are things going on beyond what is being shown and possible to see with the physical eye. And we are growing in numbers that is very hopeful. Some very skeptical ones can this year also be having a spiritual eye-opening, life-transforming experience and move quickly into awareness. And old thought patterns will be overcome, and all forms of communication will also be highlighted. Some things long awaited can fall into place. There's an energy of approval and goals being approached, projects being completed, and healing happening. There can be sudden progress beyond expectation. So it seems like we're ready and maybe experiencing a change of consciousness during this year. And there will be some times of disappointments when our expectations are not being fulfilled. But instead of making that an excuse to give up or in, it should be used to do some more release and let go of the old ideas, and instead strengthen our spiritual connection, opening up to our soul's true path. Again, this is an internal year. The way to handle whatever comes up is by going within to find both perspective, faith, and strength. It's all about finding and keeping to the truth about who we are and what we're here for. Yes, there are some challenges, but it gets easier the more we use those to become strong spiritually. I believe it's the only way to deal with the world the way it's going, and it's more important than ever. Spirituality is not a hobby, it's a necessity. By being connected and following the guidance and wisdom of our spiritual selves, we will always be at the right place, at the right time, and with the right people. We will be protected, just like Daniel in the lion's den, if you wish. That is why it's so important to not give power to anything else than your soul as the divine expression of source, or source itself, of course. And that's what I had prepared for today.
Thank you so much, Lady Casha. That was very beautiful message. Very sounds like internal work, like you said, and progress on the psychological level for us, evolution of consciousness. And maybe we'll add to this video the 9 numbers, so maybe it will be another video. I'm not quite sure how it will do it, but thank you so much for this in-depth 2023 energy reading.
Thank you, Lada, for giving me the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I've looked at the first quarter of 2023, January, February, March, from the viewpoint of the 9 numerological personal years. So first I will speak about those and show you how to find your personal year if you don't know already. The personal years indicate what kind of energy you're working with on the yearly level basis, where the first is a year of initiation and planting seeds, and the 9th of concluding and wrapping up, being done with, releasing and letting go, with the whole process of a manifestation cycle in between. Some years the energy is going outwards, some inwards, and I found it helpful to know what kind of energy you are in, to work with it, to make the most of it instead of going against it. It's like surfing or sailing. You need to catch the wave or make use of the wind's direction. Of course, there are other cycles too that are activated at the same time that need to be taken into consideration for a fully accurate personal read of where you're at. But the personal year is a major energy that it can be good to have an understanding of. To find the personal year then, you add the day and month of your birth to the year of your latest birthday and reduce that sum by adding the numbers to a single digit as you see in these examples. Worth mentioning is that there are 2 traditions in numerology regarding when the personal years shift. The one I hold to considers the change being your birthday, not the calendar new year. That is what I, through my direct experience, have found to be the most valid too. But I say, if you are unsure, experiment with it. That's the only way to find out what is true for you. I hope this reading will be helpful to you. It's an addition to the first part with the general read, and the intention is to come back with another one of these personal year insights for each of the remaining 3 quarters of 2023. So you're welcome to check back in. And with that said, let's get into it, beginning with the personal year 1. Personal year 1 is all about a new start, about new beginnings and initiation. You will need to make decisions, and whatever you focus on, start up, and that transpires here will somehow color the 9-year cycle that you've just begun. You'll need courage to make decisions and move forward, and to release and let go of anything remaining from the clearing out of last year that does not belong to your soul and future. You can't be idle or procrastinate. Although you don't need to get everything done right now, some of the bigger visions has to cycle ahead for it to manifest. What you do need is to broaden your horizon, be open to new things and new ideas about yourself and your life. January will be a too personal month and has the emphasis on patience, attending to detail, partnership and cooperation. But the energy of something new is still very strong. You're working on laying a foundation. And even if the 2 month means you have to tone down your direct drive a little bit, you're still busy with the long term, creating the groundwork for whatever vision you have. You will also this month see the rewards for good work done priorly. So there may be some success and gain taking place, and time and money invested here also has a high chance of paying out well eventually. Anything connecting you to or coming from Earth is also beneficial for you. So go outside if you can, and barefoot if possible, and use herbs and crystals if that speaks to you. Whatever comes your way now, do not fight it in a direct manner. Instead, surrender, accept, and permit it to happen, and open up to all the possibilities that are there. Meditation is always good, and extra so here, to help you ground and focus, and also opening up your heart, making you available to the divine love that you yourself consist of, and that is everywhere once you connect to it. This is a time of potential for love in every sense, a time when an awakening to your true self and happier situations begin, or that are already happening, and deepens. The outcome of the month carries joy and contentment and a high level of fulfillment and security. What you've sought and worked towards is achieved, at least in some aspect. However it plays out, there will be a true sense of happiness as opposed to just simply absence of pain. The overall energy shows that there can be resistance, an unwillingness to let go or to get out of the box, wanting the comfort or the known rather than the seeming uncertainty of the unknown. In other words, you yourself may be your greatest block. Of course, that is the ego and not your soul. So if you want to get around it, work on aligning yourself in your soul's energy and let go of and give the ego a backseat. February is a 3-personal month, and to begin with, the energy of something new is very present also here. This time the focus is on work and the creative drive with the new momentum. There's enthusiasm and optimism, and you will be proceeding with whatever sparked your interest and excitement. You will be following your bliss. You're in the middle of a new chapter of your life, which is tied to some kind of spiritual rebirth that you're experiencing now. If this does not feel related to you, there may be a need for a rebirth. So then you're encouraged to do the work to make that happen, the inner work of connecting spiritually. As a result, your perspective will broaden and your ideas of what is possible will expand. When you are better aligned and in your soul's energy and having a conscious awareness of your true self, you will connect to this uplifting energy and your life can progress as it should. There is a call to do some inventory, to take stock. Through doing an honest appraisal of your needs and desires, it's possible to attune to deeper levels of awareness and then also better take cues from the synchronicities, hunches and impulses that point towards moving forward successfully. You will reevaluate your goals, your relationships, your lifestyles and dreams, and you may decide that you're doing just fine. But if you feel there is more to be done, something to adjust, you will now have the momentum and the knowledge to do so. The outcome of February for you has the potential to be extraordinary, with a strong sense of empowerment, building on that which you experienced in the beginning of the month. There can also be an opportunity offered, and it may be that it's a door to something beautiful, so consider saying yes to it unless other factors speak directly against it. Overall, things are not happening by themselves and do not come without some effort. You will have to do the work, and you most likely will, knowing what's at stake and what is possible. Your spiritual path is becoming more and more clear, and you are integrating the different aspects and areas of your life to become a whole. March is a month of rolled up sleeves and dedicated work, as it is a 4. You will need to be organized, methodical and structured, and not shy away from that which is assigned to you. To begin with, there may be some disappointment, or it is that you are finished with something that has been a disappointment. In either case, you will get on your feet, brush it off, pick up the pieces, and start looking and moving ahead. If this is a problem, if you feel you have a hard time letting go, you may have to do something concrete to get you out of that space and look at what is good in your life and not what is not. You may, to a certain degree, lack energy, or in some other way be a bit held back by something and having to take a little bit of a time out to come back and revitalize. Out of this temporary downtime, you will come ready to live your life to the fullest again. You're entering a prosperous time period that is abundant and prosperous. It's your spiritual alignment that is manifesting itself also into the physical materially. Overall, there's an indication that there is some conflict going on. It doesn't have to be loud, but it's antagonistic in some sense. If it comes to a confrontation, you may very well be the victor, but the risk is that the victory would be hollow, as it is probably not worth the effort. Instead, if you're being manipulated or bullied by someone, walk away. There's no need to be nice about it. Just remove yourself from the equation. You don't need to convince someone else. Just know your own truth and let yourself off the hook to attract better. Overall, the first quarter of the year for you with the personal year 1 has a focus on business and practical matters. There can be a man involved. It doesn't need to be a romantic sense. It could be a brother, a father, a mentor, but it can also be a partner, a husband, or even a friendly ex or a friend that will be of help and support somehow, giving you advice and practical guidance. It can be on one occasion, or it can be someone who's there for you on and off or all the time. It can also be a time of evaluation, which I already mentioned, when you look at your life and see how it corresponds to what you really need to feel fulfilled on all levels, not only spiritually or simply materially. You will focus on fixing that which needs to be fixed. Personal year 2. Personal year 2 is about patience, attending to detail, partnership and cooperation. Sometimes it's even more important to collaborate well than the actual result and outcome of the collaboration. That which you started and decided on last year, the seeds that you planted, now need to be cared for and nurtured. The ideas you had need to be developed. Not all of them will survive, but the ones that are strong will, and you need to have faith that they are germinating in the ground. You cannot be there and try to dig them up to see how far they come. That's where the patience come in. Things are in motion, and revision may be part of the caretaking. Don't push anything. It will happen in due time. Keep the faith and be open and aware of what your inner being is telling you and where it is guiding you. January begins with a businesslike and matter-of-fact kind of energy. A man can be involved that will be of help and support, giving you advice and practical guidance. It is a time to take a little bit of stock, to do some kind of evaluation, to look at your life to see how it corresponds with what you really need and want to feel fulfilled on all levels, not only spiritually or materially, and then you will focus on fixing that which needs to be fixed. Then a new element will shift the energy, and for the better even. It could be expressed as a financial break and upswing, or it could be your professional field that picks up, giving you what you need to keep moving. It can be a creative project that suddenly comes together, and it could be a pregnancy or the birth of a baby, yours or someone else's, important to you. It could also be a new relationship coming into being or a message about someone that you've been waiting for. Work on cultivating inner stillness now and let that guide you, as that is what opens you up to the possibilities. The outcome of January shows everything potentially working out as it should, beautifully, and the plans you're making now should have far-reaching consequences into the future. The more positive your attitude is about your plans, the better your prospects for success. There's a definite promise of good fortune linked with this energy. You're on the right track, and it's the result of you having made a link to a higher plane. You are working with your higher mind. Stick to that and help others with your gifts if you can. Help them find the light too. Overall, an influential person, most likely a man, could play an important part of January. It could be the same man that already mentioned, or someone else, but this shows the softer side, someone who's sensitive and emotionally deep, compassionate and wise. If there's no actual male, these are the energies that will be available and accessible for you. The love vibration is also very strong. You could meet someone, and it could be through some metaphysical activity or anything connected to water, like sailing or swimming. If you already are involved, the relationship could reach new levels. February begins with a sweet, nurturing, creative, and abundant energy. You're energized by focusing on your home life, and answers you seek will come to you from friends or family, from books, art, animals, and nature, things that are speaking to your heart and to your soul. Let the ideas flow. Let the ideas flow. They will be what you need to move forward and advance, and they are likely to be met with approval. Then, just like you lose the beat if you're drumming and suddenly start to think about what you're doing, you run the risk of tightening your grip and cling to what you have or is coming to you, rather than letting it continue to flow, and that will strangle the flow. You probably get a bit scared of where things are going, and instead you start to involve your mind, analyzing the situation, trying to control the future, and you decide to stick to what's familiar to you, whether or not it's a conscious choice or not. It can be about your job, a material possession, a relationship, or your environment. You're letting your fixed ideas of security hold you back, which shows that you're not ready for the change just yet. Don't beat yourself up for it. You will get there with time and as awareness grows. Find a new starting point where you feel secure and go from there. It could be that this holding yourself back and onto things that are no longer for your highest good is a habit or a security blanket. But now is the time to do something about that, as it's not allowing you to be as fulfilled and happy as you have the potential to be. It's time to let that holding pattern and the suffering that comes with it go. It can either be you initiating this or someone else, something else in your external world. The worst is over now already, even though you to begin with may not see it or feel it. This is the energy of death and rebirth, figuratively, letting you know that one cycle is coming to an end and a new one will begin. Clear the deadwood out and let go of your attachments, whatever you're hanging on to, and be ready for your life to transform. Overall, this is not a month to rest on your laurels. It's a month of work, of doing what needs to be done. Attune yourself to deeper levels of awareness and listen to your inner guidance. You have what it takes. Your work is paying off and will pay off, and you will have the momentum and knowledge to continue doing what needs to be done to move forward. March comes with a change and more activity and can feel liberating after the practical focus of last month. even though some of that practical energy spills over and is still with you to begin with. You can expect messages regarding any wheeling and dealing that you're engaged in that will have a positive effect on how things progress. If you get an invitation and or an opportunity to socialize or travel, it may be a part of that successful progression. You are making progress on a personal level as well, and the things you've learned and are learning will at some point be what you yourself can teach and pass on to others. You will feel and be aware of that you are capable of creating your own destiny. You are at the steering wheel on a journey. It could be a spiritual journey of self-discovery or a physical, which then could involve a move, although probably not far, rather in the same area you're already in. Getting a new car could also be a way for this energy to express. If you act purposefully now during this time, you'll overcome obstacles and achieve the goals you've put up. Towards the end of the month, by the outcome of it, there's a strong energy of successful accomplishments and completion. Despite anything that may have seemed to be against you, you're winning because of the effort you've made, because of your clear vision and persistence. For some, this energy can express itself in getting a new job or a promotion or a raise. Finances can increase, and if the focus is love, there can be a lucky development when the man or the woman of your heart loves you back. Those whose focus is on the spiritual can also have tangible results of the inner work done. The physical and spiritual mind connection makes everything work out as it should. The overall energy of March for you with the personal year 2 is that of someone who's beginning to master the art of manifestation by being in her or his spiritual power, staying spiritually connected and aware. What you've been focusing on and working towards is starting to appear now. You may not see it just yet, but be assured it is coming. The overall energy for the entire first quarter of the year for the 2 personal year is emphasizing the journey, a journey into higher consciousness and awareness. And in the case there is a conflict between the head and the heart, always follow the heart. If you're single, a new love affair could be on its way if the stars and otherwise are aligned. And if the person shows up, everything clicks and is better than expected. It could get serious fast and has the potential of being long-lasting. It's a love based in the spiritual, connecting to something larger. If you're already with someone in a committed relationship, the energy speaks about a passionate renewal. Personal year 3. With personal year 3, the seeds planted year 1 and nurtured year 2 begin to sprout. You will be able to see the first tangible results of that which you thought and did then. It's a social and creative year and a year of self-realization. And it's a time to get over any tendency to procrastinate, become aware of the underlying coping mechanisms and fears that are creating a tendency to postpone things that are in your best and highest good. Instead, tend to your garden, nurture your talents and creative endeavors. It can be a year of writing, speaking, working with media, and seeking a market for your gifts. New friends and romance is also part of the energy. Just be aware so that you do not spread yourself too thin. Choose a fair amount of things to dedicate your energy towards and have some kind of a goal. Do not remain idle and drifting. January then is a 4-month, meaning it has some kind of practical connotation to it. There's something that needs to be done, and you need to be organized and practical and put in the work even if it feels a little bit tedious and you wish you did not have to. You'll be happy later that you did. The month begins with a sweet, nurturing, creative, and abundant energy. You're energized by focusing on your home life, and answers you seek will come to you from your friends or your family, from books, art, animals, and nature, things that are speaking to your heart and to your soul. Let the ideas flow. They will be what you need to move forward and advance, and met with approval. Then, just like you lose the beat if you're drumming and suddenly start to think about what you're doing, you run the risk of tightening your grip and cling to what it is you have or is coming to you, rather than letting it flow. You probably get intimidated by the prospects and opportunities, and instead you start to involve your mind, analyzing the situation, trying to control it and the future, deciding to stick to what's familiar, whether it's a job, a material position, a relationship, or a safe environment. You're letting your fixed ideas of security hold you back. Don't beat yourself up for this. You will get there with time. Instead, find a new starting point where you feel secure and go from there. It could be that this holding yourself back and onto things that are no longer for your highest good is a habit or a security blanket, but now is the time to do something about that, as it's not allowing you to be as fulfilled and happy as you have the potential to be. It's time to let that holding pattern and the suffering that follows go. It may to begin with feel worse than it is, but actually the worst is now over already. Clear out the dead wood and let go of what you're hanging on to. The overall energy of January is that of someone who's beginning to master the art of manifestation by being in his or her spiritual power, staying spiritually connected and aware. What you've been focusing on and working towards is starting to appear. You may not see it just yet, but be sure it's coming. February is a 5-month and change is happening. You will feel a greater sense of freedom. The energy is shifting and something new will be born in your life. It could be a literal birth of a baby, yours or someone else's important to you. It could be a pregnancy. It could be a new relationship coming into being or a message about someone that you have been waiting for. It can be a creative project that suddenly comes together, or it could be expressed as a financial break and upswing, or it could be your professional field that picks up, giving you what you need to keep moving. Work on cultivating inner stillness and let that guide you, as that is what opens you up to the possibilities. There is something about what is taking place now that will trigger you and bring up hidden fears and subconscious material that you will have to face and deal with. And a big part of that is discerning what is real and not. It could be that you've been impacted by this for a long time without knowing it. Now it's coming to surface, and this is your chance to be rid of it for good. There can also be uncertainty, and you will definitely not have the full picture. But try to relax into that. Do not force it. Remember that this is only a phase and it will pass. Let your inner self guide you. Do not look to the external, as you cannot see what is actually happening there anyway. Your spiritual life has a chance of becoming stronger. You may even be having mystical experiences, connecting to the spiritual, to the divine. The outcome of the month will be a quickening of events in an already pretty fast-paced month. Things can happen suddenly and unexpectedly, and all forms of communication is highlighted. There can be possible travel related to either work, creativity, or spiritual pursuits, or a combination of these. The energy of new is with the whole month, and you can by this time begin a new project or find new ways to conduct your business. It's an excellent time to build or rebuild a website or do something else to get what you're doing out there. If everything else is also aligned, making the timing right, you could meet someone with whom it clicks right away. It could be love at first sight. For those already involved, communication will open up and your understanding of each other will deepen. The overall energy is where this otherwise very positive month could present a bit of a challenge, and if so, it's because of your attitude. There are numerous possibilities, but you may not see them. Instead, you're focused on what's not working. The classical glass half full, half empty situation. The good thing with this is that it's completely within your power to change your outlook and perspective. And you will, once you understand what's the issue. Things are much better than you think. In fact, You have a lot going on for you, but for some reason you may be allowing discontent and self-pity get in the way of you appreciating what you have. Make use of the energies you have available and make a change. And if you need help in doing that, reach out. March, which is the 6th month for you, will bring some responsibility and focus on the relationships you have. You may be needed by someone, and this is a time to care both for others and yourself. There is also a practical element added. You can expect messages regarding any wheeling and dealing that you're engaged in that will have a positive effect on how things progress. If you get an invitation and or an opportunity to socialize or travel, it may be a part of that successful progression. You are making progress on a personal level as well, and the things you've learned and are learning now will at some point be what you yourself can teach and pass on to others further down the line. If something is a disappointment or in some other way is causing you heartache, this is the time to deal with it and remove whatever it is. It is the time to let go of that which no longer serves your best interest and to understand that that's the only way to end the pain. You may have a moment when you feel that all is lost, but the truth is, this too shall pass, and when you understand that is when the healing begins. You need to release old ideas and generate new that works better, that are in alignment with whom you truly are and can be, so that you can move on. This will result in a completion, a closure, and release of old patterns of behavior, and with that a surge of vital energy will flow into your life and you. You will get things done. Be open to the possibilities that come out of seemingly nowhere. You will feel self-reliant and confident, which will propel you forward. Pay especial attention to the synchronicities happening, so that you can make the best use of them. Overall, the month of March 2023, for those with the 3 personal year, the energy shows a situation where you can be lost in daydreaming and a bit confused in regards to what you want or should do. There may be many options and opportunities, and you have trouble distinguishing the good from the lesser good. But beneath this confusion, there's an abundance of innovative and creative energy, and what you desire could be right under your nose, just waiting to be recognized. So you need to pick an alternative to work with, becoming practical about it. Otherwise, your dreams and ideas will remain dreams and ideas unfulfilled and not translate into physical reality. The energy for the entire first quarter of 2023 for you is about learning something new and getting training. It can be formally or informally, but anything that you can do to hone your potential and skills. Long term, you may be wanting to turn a talent, a hobby, or an interest into a new career, and this is the time to begin that process if you have not before. It could also be that you're being called to take on an assignment in an unfamiliar area, and that you, to begin with, are worried about your capacity to fulfill the requirements. But you will do well, you will learn, so don't fret. Give yourself time to grow into it. You're being called on to be a part of the situation, not because you have the knowledge and skill, but because you bring enthusiasm and interest, and that you're willing to learn. That makes up for any lack of experience that you may have initially. Whatever you're engaged in, understand that the point of power is in the present, and that the process is what matters. It's what you do right now that will determine the outcome. So make it a goal to be in the now all the time. Personal Year 4. The Personal Year 4 is about rolling up your sleeves and get to work. You will need to be organized, structured, disciplined, and to do whatever needs to be done in order to move forward, and you can get great results. You may not get the reward for the efforts during this year, at least not in full, but you need to think long term. The foundation you lay down now will eventually hold a structure and a house. So don't underestimate the need for doing a good job and having patience when gratification is delayed. January will be active with changes happening, and as it begins, you may be stressed out and tired, which interferes with your spiritual connection and makes your world feel a bit shaky. The good news is that whatever possible hardships or insecurity you're feeling now is temporary and reflecting a growth situation. Emotionally, you may be feeling like you're out in the cold looking in, ignored and abandoned, and with your support system gone, your mind focused on survival issues. But you need to stop worrying and instead focus on your positive goals. Pull yourself up by reconnecting to your spiritual self. Purify, clear, cleanse, and rebalance. Once you do, your support system will come back online quickly and there will be new opportunities showing up. And when you come back to yourself, your world will feel okay again. Actually, there's even a potential for things being better than before, in that the difficulty you just went through did away with something disturbing you, regardless of if you were aware of it or not. Now that it's gone, you feel more whole than before, in balance and heart-centered. Also, any prior disputes with friends or partners can, if needed, be settled and differences can be resolved. The outcome of the month is seeing you strong and in your power. You have a much better understanding of who you are and what's going on. You've cut through illusions and are seeing the deeper truth. You're beginning to think and communicate differently, and these new ideas and beliefs help you further to find answers to something that has been bothering you for a long time. Overall, this month of January is an important month of change and potential transformation. We seldom seek change unless we are uncomfortable, and the discomfort in the beginning of the month is serving its purpose for you, as it will make you come back to yourself to a degree you've not experienced before. This will be even more pronounced if the 4 of your personal year has a 13 behind it. February looks like a month when you will be very sharp, very focused, and getting down to business, no joke. To a large degree, at least to begin with, this will be about business and practical matters, and a man can be involved. It could be a brother, a father, a mentor, a partner, a husband, a friendly ex, or a friend that will be of help and support somehow, giving you advice and practical guidance. It can be on one occasion, or it can be someone who's there for you on and off, or all the time. And if not an actual man, the supportive energy will be available to you in some other way. It's also a time of evaluation, when you look at your life and see how it corresponds to what you really need to feel fulfilled on all levels, not only spiritually or simply materially, and you will focus on fixing that which needs to be fixed. And as the month progresses, you will continue the process of cutting away from old beliefs that has outlived their purpose. Your mind could be extra active and sharp now, but make sure that you do not fall into the trap of becoming too mental, that you start relying on and identifying too much with your mind at the expense of your intuition. Balance is key, and the mind should be a servant, not a master. Use it to cut to the heart of whatever matter needing to be scrutinized, but let your intuition, the voice of your soul, guide you. The outcome of the month comes with a completion and a closure, a release of an outlived behavioral pattern. You will feel more self-reliant and confident, which helps you forward, and there may be possibilities showing up seemingly out of nowhere. So pay attention. There are powerful forces protecting you now. The man already mentioned and in your life is inspiring you and supporting you in reaching for your dreams, helping you get things done. And if not him, then the energy will be there. Overall this month, you will have plenty of assistance and help by somebody, much likely a male, or it could be the energy of life itself that has your back and pushes you in the right direction, providing you with what you need. Your ideas and efforts will much likely be met with comprehension and approval, and it's a time to open up to the magical forces and synchronicities that allow you to receive the aid that is there for you. You are rounding a critical bend and heading for something better. That does not mean that there's not more to be done, and comes March you will continue with the process of cutting away from old ideas and beliefs that are no longer valid, and you will have to continue to be aware so that you do not let your mind take over again, overriding your soul's voice. Again, balance is key, and you may need to step back a little to find a place of inner peace so that you can see the bigger picture and where there's need for adjustments. Moderation and compromise is the way to go, and you'll be asked to be tolerant, compassionate, patient, and forgiving. That will resolve any conflict or issue already happening or preventing them to arise in any area of your life. You will much likely be successful in your approach, as the outcome and end of the month shows you on top of things. There's a strong energy of successful accomplishments and completions. Despite anything that may have seemed to be against you, you are winning because of the efforts you've made, because of your clear vision and persistence. For some, this energy can express itself in getting a new job or a promotion and a raise. Finances can increase, and if the focus is love, there can be a lucky development when the man or the woman of your heart loves you back. Those whose focus is on the spiritual can also have tangible results of inner work done. The physical and spiritual mind connection makes everything working out as it should. Overall, this month is an important month of change and potential transformation. So it looks like it's one of the basic underlying energy themes for the entire first quarter year for you. If you do not initiate the change or changes yourself, they will come to you from seemingly outside, but they will reflect a deeper need for this change and transformation within you. If you are afraid and cling to what's done with, it will be harder. So find some way to go with this flow instead of resisting it. It will make it much easier. What you need is to let go, and here's how you do it. Instead of thinking about what is troubling you, replace those thoughts with an appropriate affirmation or a mantra, something that you can focus on and at the same time have create a new reality for you. Do this consistently, and you will experience the hidden magic inherent in the practice of letting go, one of the basic concepts for a life well lived, as we need to constantly let go of the lesser to make room for the better, to bring out our highest potential into manifestation. So the other theme besides change and transformation for this time period is work. You will have to watch it so that you do not overdo it, because it could potentially bring out the workaholic in you. You can be taking on so much that it feels like a burden, and you don't want to delegate because you feel nobody can do what you do. And that may be right, but you can release other commitments so that you both get whatever you're doing done and get to catch your breath now and then. For instance, if you are in the latter stages of a creative project, maybe hire someone to clean the house. The work that you do now is something that you cannot escape, that you need to commit to and finish, as it is deeply linked to your inner being. So if it feels like too much responsibility on your shoulders with everything, make sure you cut out the right things. Ask the people in your life to respect your time and give your space. It is a temporary situation. This quarter year could also be about you being ready to go out into the world with what you've got, to share your experience, your insights, and your knowledge. Remain intent on your goals and have confidence that they will be reached, and whatever problems attached to it will be solved. Personal Year 5. The 5 personal year is about progress and development, about change and freedom. which will feel good after last year's focus on work. It will be a dynamic time with new experiences and circumstances and new people. You'll get wind in your sails and you might take a risk, but you need to make sure to not be hasty or too impulsive, creating motion just because you're restless. Make sure you're not burning any bridges you in reality do not want to burn, and that the changes you initiate is leading to something better. You may consider channeling any impatience or restlessness, for instance, into traveling or physical activity. In January, an influential person, most likely a man, could play an important part. Is most likely someone who's sensitive and emotionally deep, compassionate, and also wise. If no actual male, these are the energies that will be available and accessible for you. The love vibration is also very strong. And if not this man, you could meet someone else through some metaphysical activity or anything connected to water, like sailing or swimming. If you're already involved, the relationship could reach new levels. And then some wish you have will be granted. It could be something you're aware of or something more subconscious, but it will be positive and definitely bring a sense of happiness, joy, and fulfillment. It could be a delayed project that is now moving forward towards completion, even though it may not be as expected. There could be some changes in how it happens. Or it could be a chance meeting or contact that bring something unexpected good. For instance, you get a job offer. The joy and happiness may come from you having met a person or meeting a person that you need in your life at this time. There's an indication of sexual passion, pleasures, and also a deepening of commitment in already existing relationships. The only risk is that you overdo it now. It's possible to overdo also good things and emotionally, so that it becomes too much and paves way for a hangover. And some kind of hangover or similar seems to be happening here, or it is that the good times are triggering something deeper within you that is not resolved yet. Because the outcome of the month speaks about worry and anxiety of the kind that is not proportionate to what's actually going on. If you met someone, it could be, for instance, that it triggers abandonment issues that lies dormant otherwise. Maybe you're getting hyped about the idea of someone cheating or losing interest, but that does not need to be the case. It could be your past haunting you. Although difficult for the moment, what transpires here can eventually be a good thing if you handle it wisely. And if you need help doing so, do not hesitate to get it. It does not mean that you need years of therapy, but you may need someone to help you get a proper perspective. The current situation may not be what you think and is definitely not as bad, and it can bring a chance to heal deeply as a result. If it's not about a relationship, it could be that you are experiencing a lot of stress related to work, and it is a situation you will have to confront somehow. Not aggressively, of course, but to get clarity and solutions. It could also be financial fears, making a mountain out of a molehill, falling into an old pattern of financial worry, even though things are working and will work out. Overall, there is some work needing to be done this month of January, maybe spilling over from your 4-year, and you will have to watch it so that you're not overdoing it, as it could potentially bring out the workaholic in you. You can be taking on so much that it feels like a burden, and you don't want to delegate because you feel nobody can do what you do. And that may actually be right, but you can release other commitments so that you both get whatever you're doing done and get to catch your breath now and then. For instance, if you are in the latter stages of a creative project, maybe hire someone to clean your house. The work that you do now is something that you cannot escape, that you need to commit to and finish, as it is deeply linked to your inner being. So if it feels like too much responsibility on your shoulders with everything, make sure you cut out the right things. Ask the people in your life to respect your time and give you space as well. This is a temporary situation. It can also be about you being ready to go out into the world with what you got, to share your experience, your insights, and your knowledge. And if you remain intent on your goals and have confidence that they will be reached, whatever problems attached will be solved. Whatever caused the temporary worry and anxiety in January, it seems to be over in February. Here comes plenty of assistance and help, either by somebody or the energy of life itself, having your back and pushing you in the right direction, providing what you need. Your ideas and efforts will much likely be met with comprehension and approval, and it is a time to open up to the magical forces and synchronicities that allows you to receive the aid that is there for you. You are rounding a critical bend and heading for something better. If you can, share what you have, whether it is material resources or insight. But do not let others take advantage of you, and definitely do not let yourself be coerced into anything that is not in integrity. It is good to be trusting, but not everybody is to be trusted, so guard against underhanded people. By taking precautions, you can be prepared if someone is doing something, whether it is designed to surprise or trick you into impulsive action that will cost you, or if it is by chance. Don't be an open book, but on the other hand, mistrust and unnecessary secrecy will cause you more problem than it will help, so find the proper balance. This is also an energy that calls for a warning to avoid cults and groups preying on those needing spiritual comfort. It does not seem like this would become a problem, though, as the outcome of the month shows no sign of it being so. Instead, it comes with an opportunity for a fresh start with a lot of potential in it, especially related but not limited to business and finance. You can be about to begin a new venture which will bring positive financial changes to your life. The plan may be a little bit risky, but the timing is good, so it will come out okay. Investments of money, time, and energy has a high chance of paying off awesome. The energy is also connected to the physical body, to proper diet and nutrition, and it can as well mean an infant or a baby, or maybe a new relationship with a child. The overall energy for February for a personal year 5 is beautiful. It carries with it completion, success, and fulfillment, which can be over the whole spectrum of your life or pertaining to one specific area. You may experience this as a peak moment on your path, when you can even get a glimpse of a deeper meaning and purpose of your life's journey. You may even be capable of attaining a measure of cosmic consciousness at this time, if only for a second, and just that moment would, if so, change your perception of life and how you deal with it forever. In any case, you are surmounting so many of your obstacles and overcoming your limitations. Enjoy your victory now and prepare for the next phase of your journey. In regards to love, this energy is about finding exactly what you're looking for in a romantic relationship. It does not necessarily mean that you're going to meet someone new if you are already committed. Instead, you may actually realize that you've had it all along in the relationship that you already have. The energy of the outcome of last month spills over to March with the opportunity for a fresh start with a great potential in it. So everything just mentioned for the outcome of February still holds as this month begins. You're now connecting with your power to manifest your plans and ideas and your dreams, and meditation will be extra potent. Anything connecting you to the earth, grounding and using herbs and crystals will also benefit you. Then enters an energy that will speed things up and remove lingering blocks and obstacles, marking the end of any stagnation and delay. You will be approaching your goals more quickly now, and your plans will be nearing completion. Also, all forms of communication is highlighted, and there is possible travel related to work, creativity, or spiritual pursuits, or a combination. You will broaden your horizon and get new ideas that you will use for your new project or projects. By the outcome of this month, your spiritual life will be strong, and you may participate in non-ordinary things, much likely in some kind of group setting, for instance, shamanic rituals or ceremonies or something of that sort. It could be joint meditations, for instance. There will be healing, and the energy also suggests working with children and animals as beneficial. And overall, you should be feeling pretty much at peace and comfortable with yourself. The overall energy for the entire first quarter of 2023 for you with a personal year 5 is practical. You can expect messages regarding any wheeling and dealing you're engaged in that will have a positive effect on how things are progressing as well. If you get an invitation and or an opportunity to socialize or travel, it may be a part of that successful progression. You are making progress on a personal level as well, and the things you've learned and are learning will at some point be what you yourself can teach and pass on to others. Personal year 6. After the year of change and freedom, the 6th personal year comes with commitment and responsibility. It will be a time to adjust and adapt, a year to grow and mature of personal development. You will be called to be of service in some way. There is an element of care, and your relationships will be more important, especially to those close to you. People can come into your life and they can leave. Bonds that are not healthy or meaningful run the risk of being broken. It's also a year for advancing and having progress in business and financial matters. Even though January is the 7th month for you with an inward focus, it will be practical to begin with. You will receive messages regarding any kind of wheeling and dealing that you're engaged in, and that will have a positive effect on how things progress. You may also be invited and or get an opportunity to socialize or travel, which may be a part of the successful progression. Also on a personal level, you're making progress, and the things you've learned and are learning will at some point be what you yourself can teach and pass on to others. Dedicate time to cut away from old ideas and beliefs that you still have that has outlived their purpose, and as not to have them holding you back. Also, your mind could be extra active now and sharp, but you will need to make sure that you're not falling into the trap of becoming too mental, that you start relying on and identifying too much with your mind at the expense of your intuition. The mind should be a servant, not a master, and proper balance is key. Use it, the mind, to cut to the heart of whatever matter needing to be scrutinized, but let your intuition, the voice of your soul, guide you. With the outcome of the month, you will sense how your ideas, time, and money are about to pay off, how you're moving in the right direction, and the future is looking really bright. You will feel that you are at the right place at the right time with the right people, and how success is just around the corner. Your ships are coming in, although it may not be as quickly as you've hoped for or anticipated initially. But now you know what you're capable of and what needs to be done to continue the positive development. Do your spiritual work, as that will help you stay the course and balanced, and it will also open the doors for you to the possibilities that are there. It is you yourself that are holding the secret to your own growth and progress. Overall, times are good for you this month. You should be feeling safe and secure, and there can be reasons to celebrate. Your plans look solid and your foundation is firm, and it can see you through virtually everything. Whether your belief system matches anybody else's, that doesn't matter. The one that you have will work for you, and it will take care of whatever it is that you need in your life. In February, you may be feeling a little low on energy to begin with and needing to take a time out. It's a long overdue break that you can use to revitalize. So put your concerns to the side for a moment and retreat. Relax and get in touch with your inner self. You will emerge renewed and refreshed. You may be feeling off relationship-wise as well, but it's because you need to reconnect with your own inner being first. And when you do, your connections to others will be there again. You will be needing patience, as progress may be slow at this time, but it's also steady and will be tangible. There can be a focus on money and financial stability, and if you've been having problems, the situation will improve. Not in a flash-in-the-pan kind of way, but slowly and surely. Although for some, there can be a windfall, which could be an investment made that's forgotten about, or a new investment made that is paying off. It could also be something as improbable as winning the lottery, or it could be getting a large advance on a book or selling your business. But whatever transpires, by now you should be having such a good grip on your spiritual awareness that instead of reacting to whatever is occurring, you deal with it and evolve. At this time, you're also realizing that the only thing holding you back from living your life to the fullest is you. You're seeing the next layer of truth, that it's you that are projecting your fears and inhibitions to the outside world and then viewing them as obstacles. You understand that those limitations are not really real, only projections of your inner anxieties and fears. So if you to some degree feel stuck in some aspect or at some level, the reason is not because someone else is doing anything to you, but because you for some reason are refusing to move on and expand your ideas of what's possible. Nothing is preventing you except your own negative beliefs. And oftentimes those are connected to unresolved trauma, regardless of if you're aware of it or not. There is a rapidly growing awareness now about the effects of trauma and how to heal it. So this is a time to look into that if you feel you need. Overall, this is a month with a new momentum. Change will be in the air with creative energy, with initiative and enthusiasm. And some long-standing condition will be changing or moving again once you get your energy back after the initial time out that you needed. Also, synchronicities will be at work, and you will find what you want before you want it. You will find what you're looking for, so get on with it. Remain upbeat and positive. Whatever you're dealing with, it will change quickly. It seems like your biggest challenge now is to incorporate all that you've learned and to make use of it. This will, again, be a time to step into who you really, truly are. You can no longer hide. And in March, as it begins, you will be feeling strong and in your power. You have now a much better understanding of who you are and where you're going and what's going on. You've cut through many illusions and you are seeing the deeper truth of things. And as a result, you're beginning to think and communicate differently. And the new ideas and beliefs are helping you to find answers to something that may have been bothering you for a long time. You will be having a sense of completion, of success and fulfillment, which can be over the whole spectrum of your life or in one specific area. You may be experiencing a peak moment when you get a glimpse of a deeper meaning and purpose of your entire life's journey. You may even be capable of attaining a measure of cosmic consciousness at this time, if only for a second. And just that moment would, if so, change your perception of life and how you deal with life forever. In any case, you are now surmounting so many of your obstacles and overcoming your limitations. So enjoy the victory you're feeling and prepare for the next phase. In regards to love, this energy is about finding exactly what you're looking for in a romantic relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to meet someone new if you are already committed. Instead, you may actually realize that you've had what you desire all along in the relationship that you already have. The outcome energy of the month is a focus on business and practical matters. There can also be a man involved. Could be a brother, a father, a partner, a husband, or a friend that will be of help and support somehow, giving you advice and practical guidance. It is also a time of evaluation, when you will look at your life and see how it corresponds to what you really need to feel fulfilled on all levels, not only spiritually or simply materially. Then you will focus on fixing that which needs to be fixed. Overall, this month of March for you with a 6th personal year has the potential of being a turning point. It is connected to luck and destiny, and you can, if you feel so called, take a risk, take a plunge. And if you would find that the universe is answering quickly, provided, of course, that you're properly aligned, working with your soul's energy. There may be synchronicities and unexpected things happening, and when they do, take the cues, because this is fate saying that there is a new direction available. Of course, you are free to resist, but the possibility is there. So follow your intuition and do not let fear block your progress. You've reached a point where you understand, either for the first time or on a deeper level than ever, that there is more to life than the external world. So commune with your inner self now and discover the core of your strength. It's your thoughts and beliefs that are creating this turning point. So you need to take responsibility for that. And if your life does not look the way you want it to look, fix it by fixing yourself. Overall, the entire first quarter of the year is about victory and success. You will have the ability to succeed now against any opposition. You can meet challenges with what it takes. You are in an advantageous position. So all you need to do really is to face up, take a stand and assert yourself. It is also time to tie up loose ends from the past and get on with your life. Your belief system might at this point be tested by someone who wants you to believe like they do. Listen and weigh in if you feel called to, but of course, keep to what is right for you. Defend if you must, or walk away. Personal Year 7. The personal Year 7 is creative on a deep inner plane, with an emphasis on how you're using your mind and your thoughts. It's extra important now to be aware, to look at your beliefs and only entertain those thoughts that you would like to see manifest. You will see the consequences of this, especially next year. The 7 also represents a time when you will feel a need to go within and pull back a little from the external. It's the number of the mystic and of mystical experiences. Whatever happens in the world around you and in your life on a practical plane now, keep the faith in your vision, as that defines the outcome more than any temporary unfolding of events. which is only the outpicturing of what was thought and created energetically yesterday anyway. Avoid distractions. As long as you stay spiritually connected, focused and centered in your soul's energy, things will take care of itself, regardless of how it may look to the physical eye. As January begins, you will experience the end of an old situation and the beginning of a new. Even though you may still feel a bit more withdrawn than otherwise because of the 7-year energy, some aspect of it could be over and you're ready to tie up loose ends and projects and are getting ready to move on to the next thing. So this is somewhat of a transition phase, and you could experience it as being at a crossroads when you will have to decide what you need in order to move forward. What that is could possibly be education and or metaphysical studies or some other type of training for future purposes. And for some of you, this could involve travel. You don't have all the answers yet, but that's not needed or not even something to strive for. The greatest teachers are perpetual students. There's always something more to learn. At this time, you have a strong spiritual awareness and inner focus, as well as a good balance between your physical and spiritual world. And you can challenge, break through, and overcome every obstacle. You very much have your destiny in your hands at this point, and you should be able to move forward with your life plans. You have what it takes, just stay the course. Throughout this month, you are strong then and in your power, and at the outcome of the time period, you have a much better understanding of who you are and what is going on. You've cut through illusions and you're able to see a much deeper truth. As a result, you're beginning to think and communicate differently, and the new ideas and beliefs will be helping you further, especially if you have something that's been bothering you for a long time. You will find answers and a solution. The overall energy centers your world around children, animals and nature, and also metaphysics and sex. Maybe all of it, and not necessarily in that order. You'll be comfortable with yourself, and spirituality will flow through all areas of your life and everything you do. The overall energy that colored January will be with you when February begins. Additionally, there may be a new opportunity coming your way career-wise, and that would, if so, be exactly what you're looking for, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And you're happiest working from home, at least at this time of your life. If you have a situation that's not working out the way it should, you need to do a 180 on how you perceive things. Any situation won't change until you change your perception. Old ideas and beliefs and ideals are no longer working, so you will need to adjust your point of view and change your established way of doing things. This could be pertaining a specific area or issue. But do not look at yourself as a victim. If you feel stuck, realize that it's your ideas and fixed concepts of life that keep you stuck. So release the ideas and associations that are obsolete and no longer work for you, and any possible standstill will be just temporary. The entire year, there's an energy of study on education and anything that help you hone your skills. And with the outcome of February, your focus will very much be there. You could be enrolling in an actual full-time program where you work toward a degree, but it could also be that you're considering the possibility of turning a talent, a hobby, or an interest into a new career. You could be tackling a long-term task educational-wise, or taking additional courses on the side of a day job. Whatever you're learning now will help you with future prospects and with the career you desire to pursue. Overall, this is a month with a new momentum and a time to step into who you really truly are, that you can no longer hide. Change will be in the air with creative energy, initiative and enthusiasm, and some long-standing condition will be changing or moving again. There will also be synchronicities at work. You will find what you're looking for, so get on with it. Whatever you're dealing with, it will change quickly. It seems like your biggest challenge now is to incorporate all that you're learning to make use of it. Comes March, you either will or are strongly considering walking away and leaving something behind that is no longer for you. It could be because of a disappointment or disillusionment, or simply because a situation has reached a natural conclusion. You've gradually lost interest in something or someone that is a part of your life. So you could be voluntarily turning away from a relationship or an unfulfilling career or job, for example. The energy can also express itself in a conscious decision to put ordinary life behind in order to devote it to the search for wisdom and enlightenment, because you're feeling stagnant and a need to experience new things. The chances are also with this energy that a dream or a love may come true, even though you fear it will not. A lot will be going on for you. You will have a lot on your hands, and the secret to maintaining your equilibrium will be to balance your inner life with the outer. You need to stay connected spiritually and take time for whatever practice that helps you stay connected when dealing with your practical reality. In that way, you will be able to keep up the pace and still be of good cheer. It won't feel like a burden. Just be aware of spreading yourself too thin. It can be much, but too much, so that everything suffers because nothing gets the attention it needs, is of no good. The many irons in the fire and fast pace will continue with the whirlwind of activities at the end of the month, and your social life may pick up, at least for a moment. You may also be doing some short trips, which could be to attend a gathering where ideas are exchanged, such as a conference or a workshop, and there can be a sudden positive surge in the work that you're doing. Overall, something looking negative on the surface may be a blessing in disguise. You may be dealing with a situation that calls for you making a choice. Should I follow my head or my heart? Should I be practical or happy? The heart doesn't lie. The head is susceptible to illusion. But the best way to figure out what to do is to ask your soul and your higher mind to make you aware. There can also be a relationship just around the corner with the need of making a decision around it, or it could be a current relationship about to have changes. The entire first quarter of 2023 for you with the 7-year carries the same energy as did the overall of January and beginning of February, so it will be extra pronounced at those times, centering your world, as I mentioned, around children, animals, nature, metaphysics, and sex. Also important is your spiritual life being strong in regards to all areas of your life. And I also mentioned a new opportunity coming your way pertaining to your work and career, and if so, being exactly what you're looking for on all levels. If someone new comes into your life during these 3 months or just before or after, sparks can be flying. It will be passionate, romantic, tumultuous, and fire your imagination. It's a relationship that will definitely move you, and you would need to maintain your equilibrium and normal routines to remain in balance, so that it does not rule or overpower you or swallow you whole. There is a past life or soul connection between you and this other, and it has the potential of being very good, actually everything you want and more. Personal year 8. Personal year 8 comes with the results and consequences of what you entertained the year prior. It's a time of reaping what you've sown, both during that 7-year and also during the prior entire 9-year cycle since it began. If you used your energy well, you will be seeing some nice manifestations now. There can be success and rewards, and your accomplishments can get recognition. You may have to repeat your efforts during the year. Nothing comes easy with an 8, as the number has such inherent strength that needs to be pulled out. As a year when you can come into some kind of position and be regarded an authority, it's important that you keep your ego in check and remain grounded and balanced. Of course, nobody's 100% on top all of the time, so there may also be that you will have to take responsibility for some of the things up to this point that leaves something else to wish for. You may need to course correct, but don't let that bring you down. Get the job done. It will be fine. As January begins, you may be feeling a little low on energy and needing to take time out. It can be a long overdue break that you can use to revitalize, so put your concerns to the side for a moment and retreat, relax, and get in touch with your inner self. You may be feeling off relationship-wise as well, but it's because you need to reconnect with your own being first. And when you do, your connections to others will be there again. You will emerge renewed and refreshed. Actually, there is a potential for some kind of rebirth now, that you'll be moving into spiritual awareness as you're grasping your inner being and following it where it takes you. You're understanding the truth that the point of power lies in the present, and you will feel both exhilarated and liberated. There can also be projects that you've been working on for months that are almost ready for presentation. So just because you might have hit a snag, don't abandon your goals. The outcome of January shows everything potentially working out as it should, beautifully, and the plans you're making now should have far-reaching consequences into the future. The more positive your attitude is about your plans, the better your prospects for success. There's a definite promise of good fortune linked with this energy. You are on the right track, and it's the result of you having made a link to a higher plane, that you're working with your higher mind. Overall, January for you will be a time when your intuition blossoms, a time for clarifying your emotions and your belief systems. Fights with friends or estrangements from family has a potential of mending here, and there can be joyful reunions. Old wounds can be healing and allowing everybody to move on. You would benefit from working with groups and getting together with like-minded at this point. That could lead to pleasant spiritual awakenings or renewals. So the energy of rebirth already mentioned is strongly supported. As February begins, there will be a quickening of events. Things can happen suddenly and unexpectedly, and all forms of communication is highlighted. There can be possible travel related to either work, creativity, or spiritual pursuits, or a combination of these. You can be initiating a new project or finding new ways to conduct a business you already have. It's an excellent time to build or rebuild a website or do something else to get what you're doing out there. If everything else is also aligned, making the timing right, you could meet someone with whom it clicks right away. It could be love at first sight. For those already involved, communication will open up and your understanding of each other will deepen. Then some kind of situation may arise that means some kind of conflict. It can also be a situation already going on that will be calling for your attention. It doesn't have to be loud or outright aggressive, but it is antagonistic in some sense. If it comes to a confrontation, you may very well be the victor, but the risk is that this victory would be hollow, so it is probably not worth the effort. Instead, if you're being manipulated or bullied by someone, just walk away. There's no need to be nice about it. Just remove yourself from the equation. You don't need to convince somebody. You just need to know your own truth and let yourself off the hook to attract something better. The outcome of the month, you will either or are strongly considering walking away and leaving something behind that you feel is no longer for you. It could be because of disappointment or disillusionment, or simply because the situation has reached a natural conclusion. You may gradually have lost interest in something or someone that's been a part of your life, and now you could be voluntarily turning away. The energy can also express itself in a conscious decision to put ordinary life behind in order to devote it to the search for wisdom and enlightenment, because you're feeling stagnant and in the need to experience new things. You may be feeling blue or fatigued or suffering, waiting for new inspiration and energy, and it will come. Overall, February is an important month of change and potential transformation. It looks like it's one of the basic underlying energy themes for the entire first quarter year for you. If you do not initiate the change or changes yourself, they will come to you from seemingly outside. But if so, they will reflect a deeper need for this change and transformation within you. If you are afraid and cling to what is done with, it will be harder. So find some way to go with this flow instead of resisting it. It will make it much easier. What you need is to let go, and here's how you do it. Instead of thinking and worrying about what is troubling you, replace those thoughts with appropriate affirmations or mantras, something that you can focus on and at the same time have create a new reality for you. Do this consistently and you will experience the hidden magic inherent in the practice of letting go. Coming into March, you're realizing how the only thing holding you back from living your life to the fullest is you yourself. You may be projecting your fears and inhibitions to the outside world, and then you view them as obstacles out there, disconnected from you. But nothing is preventing you from moving forward and living your life to the fullest, except your own negative beliefs. And it may be that you are now becoming aware how this is connected to unresolved trauma, and you will look towards ways to heal it. You will reconnect with the same energy you experienced in the beginning of February now, with things happening suddenly and unexpectedly in a quickening of events, and when all forms of communication will be highlighted. The possibility of travel is here this time as well. And if you did not meet someone in February, this is a second chance to come across someone with whom it has the potential of clicking right away, a love at first sight. The thoughts on or actually walking away and leaving something behind is highlighted at the outcome of the month as well. If you felt compelled but did not act in February, this is another chance at it. You're longing for something better that is better corresponding with who you have become and want to become. Overall, March is not one of the easiest of times for you, as you will be triggered by something transpiring which will bring up hidden fears and subconscious material to the surface that you will have to face and deal with. And a big part of that is discerning what is real and not. It could be that you've been impacted by this for a long time without knowing it, and now it's making itself known, giving you the chance to be rid of it for good. There can also be some uncertainty, and you will definitely not have the full picture, but try to relax into that. Do not force it. Remember that this is only a phase and it will pass. Let your inner self guide you. Do not look to the external, as you cannot see what is actually happening there. Your spiritual life instead has a chance of becoming stronger. You may even be having mystical experiences, connecting to the spiritual, to the divine. The overall energy for your entire first quarter of 2023 is creating a shift, allowing something new to be born in your life. It could be the birth of an actual baby, yours or someone else's important to you, or it could be a pregnancy or a message about a pregnancy. It could also be a new relationship coming into being, or a message about someone that you've been waiting for, reaching you and making you hopeful. It can be a creative project that suddenly comes together, or it could manifest as a financial break and upswing. It could be your professional field that's picking up, giving you what you need. Work on cultivating inner stillness and let that guide you, as that is what opens you up to the possibilities that are here waiting for you. Personal year 9. With the 9 personal year, things come to a head. Something or some of the things you've dreamt about will have been and are being realized. And the time is about completion and closure. That will eventually lead to something new with the next 9-year cycle. But this year is about wrapping up, clearing out, and making space for what is to come, more than actually starting anything just yet. It's also a time to let spiritual principles be extra present in everything you do. To be tolerant, accepting, compassionate, and forgiving. It's a big year for forgiveness and of letting go of any grievances and resentments. That which leaves your life now is what no longer serves you or will not serve you as you move forward. Put your ego aside. Choose the high road in all your dealings. This can be a wonderful and beautiful year, also when it comes to love, being creative for business and financially. January is a one personal month, a start-up energy when you will need to be independent and take initiative within the framework of the 9th personal year. It will be an active time with changes happening, and you may be stressed out and tired, which may interfere with your spiritual connection and make your world feel a little bit shaky. The good news, though, is whatever possible insecurity, it is temporary, reflecting a growth situation. Emotionally, you may be feeling like you're out in the cold, looking in, and with your support system gone, your mind focused on survival issues. But you need to stop worrying and instead focus on your positive goals. Pull yourself up by reconnecting to your spiritual self. Purify, clear, cleanse, and rebalance. Once you do, your support system will come back online quickly, and there will be new opportunities showing up. But there is also an indication that there is some kind of conflict going on. It doesn't have to be loud, but it is antagonistic in some sense. If this would come to a confrontation, you may very well be the victor, but the risk is that the victory would be hollow, as it's probably not worth the effort. Instead, if you're being manipulated or bullied by someone, walk away. There's no need to be nice about it. Just remove yourself from the equation. You don't need to convince someone else. Just know your own truth and let yourself off the hook to attract something better. Despite these challenges, or maybe because of them, the outcome of the month sees you strong in your spiritual power. At this time, your life will be focused on work and your spiritual beliefs. Something is being completed. It could be a situation or a relationship. You may also need to slow down. Your body is extra sensitive to stress during the entire year, so make sure you are not taxing it so that you can enjoy the journey. Be open and follow hunches about which direction you should be heading. Check in with your higher mind often to make sure you're making the right choices. You will possess the energy and enthusiasm here to create the life you desire and are meant to live. Overall this month, there can be a clash of beliefs, and that could be the conflict just mentioned. It could be with someone else, or it can actually also be within yourself. A conflict regarding what you should do as culture, society, and convention asks of you, as opposed to what is truly right and authentic for you as an individual. You may be tempted to not rock the boat and try to fit in instead. Maybe it's about going against family traditions, creating something new for yourself, and this is something you need to figure out. You do this by taking necessary time to connect with your spiritual self with any means that you are accustomed to using. It can be meditation, prayer, using affirmations and words of power, communing with nature, whatever. If you're already on it and working spiritually and feel that you want to move further, the use of ceremony could be a gateway to higher knowledge. In whatever case, it's the commitment to daily exploring the path that is key. February comes with both old memories and new opportunities for skills and abilities that you have probably not been using for a while, that now has a chance of being resurrected, perhaps out of necessity. There can be a missed opportunity that needs to be considered, and some past effort can bring rewards. This energy is connected to your childhood or children and happy times. You could be remembering your childhood dreams and wishes and using them creatively. Someone or something from the past may be helpful, bring inspiration and new energy. But do not let nostalgia get in the way of your current goals. If you find yourself thinking that things were better before, that the best days of your life is behind you, snap out of it. Believing is seeing, so watch your thoughts. Then enters an energy that will speed things up and remove lingering blocks or obstacles, marking the end of any possible stagnation and delay. You will now be approaching your goals much more quickly and your plans will near completion. Also, all forms of communication is highlighted, and there's the possibility of travel related to work, creativity, or spiritual pursuits. You will broaden your horizon and get new ideas that you will use for your new projects or projects. The outcome of the month, you either will or are strongly considering walking away and leaving something behind that you feel is no longer for you. It could be because of disappointment or simply because a situation has reached a natural conclusion. You may gradually be losing interest in something or someone, and now you could be voluntarily turning away. This energy can also express itself in a conscious decision to put ordinary life behind in order to devote it to the search for wisdom and even enlightenment, because you're feeling stagnant and a need to experience new things. Overall, the energy of something new is very present. This time the focus is on work and the creative drive with a new momentum. You'll be feeling enthusiastic and inspired and be proceeding with whatever has sparked your interest and excitement, following your bliss. You're now in a new chapter of your life which is tied to some kind of spiritual rebirth that you're experiencing. If this does not feel like it's related to you, there may be a need for a rebirth. So then you're encouraged to do the work to make that happen, the inner work of connecting spiritually. As a result, your perspective will broaden and your ideas of what is possible will expand. When you are better aligned and in your soul's energy and having a conscious awareness of your true self, you will connect to this uplifting energy and your life can progress exactly the way it should. With March, you may be feeling a little bit low on energy to begin with and needing to take a time out. It can be an overdue break that you can use to revitalize, so put your concerns to the side for a moment and retreat. Relax and get in touch with your inner being. You will emerge renewed and refreshed. You may be feeling off relationship-wise as well, but it's because you need to reconnect with your inner being first. When you do, your connections to others will be there again. And to begin with, there may be some disappointment, or it is that you're finished with something that has been a disappointment. In either case, you will get on your feet, brush it off, pick up the pieces, and start looking and moving ahead. If this is a problem, if you feel you have a hard time letting go, you may have to do something concrete to get you out of that space and look at what is good in your life and not what is not. The outcome of the month shows new momentum. Change will be in the air with creative energy, with initiative and enthusiasm, and some long-standing condition will be changing or moving again once you get your energy back after the initial time out that you needed. Synchronicities will be at work and you will find what you're looking for. So get on with it. Whatever you're dealing with, it will change quickly. It seems like your biggest challenge now will be to incorporate all that you've learned to make use of it. This will be a time to step into who you really truly are. You can no longer hide. The overall energy from March for you shows that there can be a resistance, an unwillingness to let go, wanting the comfort of the known rather than the seeming uncertainty of the unknown. In other words, you yourself may be your greatest block. Of course, that is the ego and not your soul. So if you want to get around it, work on aligning yourself in your soul's energy and give the ego a backseat. The overall energy for the entire first quarter reveals that there is a possibility that you will find yourself triggered by something that transpires, and that could bring up hidden fears and subconscious material to the surface that you would have to face and deal with. And a big part of that is discerning what is real and what is not. It could be that you've been impacted by this for a long time without knowing it, and now it is making itself known, giving you the chance to be rid of it for good. There will be uncertainty and you will definitely not have the full picture. But do your best to relax into that. Do not force things. Remember that this is only a phase and it will pass. Let your inner self guide you. Do not look to the external, as you cannot see now with your physical eyes what is actually happening here. Instead, your spiritual life has a chance of becoming much stronger. You may be having mystic experiences, connecting to the spiritual, to the divine.